Welcome to Belief, Being, and Beyond with your host, Granddaughter Crow. Hi, everybody. Granddaughter Crow here for yet another episode of Belief, Being, and Beyond. And I went straight to my own backyard to find this beautiful jewel. I have Cheryl Ramsey here. She is the founder, owner, also intuitive reader, healer at Soul Inspiration LLC here in North Glen, Colorado, which is where I live, and you guys know that. Don't like stalk me or anything. But I absolutely love having Cheryl here. Let me tell you a little bit more about Cheryl. Like I said, founder, intuitive reader, Soul Inspiration LLC, www.soulinspirationllc. Um, Cheryl's heartfelt mission is to support and guide you on your transformative healing journey and to get that profound healing by connecting to your angels and your guides and your ancestors and so on and so forth. Cheryl has had Soul Inspiration LLC for a while, and I, as Granddaughter Crow, would read and teach out of many of her different locations that she's had over the years to the degree that I really grew under her watch, and she was key in inspiring me to write my first book, Journey of the Soul, The Path of a Medicine Woman. So, anyway, without further ado, welcome Cheryl Ramsey to Belief, Being, and Beyond.
Oh, thank you. It's very cool being here. Thank you for thinking of me and having me on the show. It's really exciting. I'm not a big one to be on video, so this is going to be new for me. So please be gentle.
Well, we will be gentle. You look beautiful,
Thank
and
you.
we're just going to chat it up. So,
Yep.
yeah, before we get into that, I really wanted to say thank you because one time I was teaching a class. This was years ago, maybe even a decade. I was teaching a class out of your shop about shamanism. And I was like, I had this idea of traveling to the upper, the middle, and the lower world, and how that reflects in the chakra work, the lower to the upper chakras. And I did so much research. I was Googling it, and I was like, and I came to that class that night. And I'm like, okay, guys, this is what I want to show you, but I just can't find any credible resource or books that have been written on this. Out from the back of the shop is Cheryl. Well, then write it, Granddaughter Crow.
And here you are. How many
I
books
did
later?
it. You
That's
proud of me?
awesome.
Yeah, I'm like,
It's
I wrote
great
it.
information to have too. So if anybody hasn't checked it out, you definitely need to check it out.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's really cool having you here because it's like full circle, and I really learned how to be on camera under
Mhm.
your watch. The person who was recording me at that time could tell that I was nervous on camera, so they put a little tiny fuzzy animal at the top of the camera so that I could talk to the animal. And now look at me. I'm just all over the place, you
Right?
know? I'm comfortable on screen. But
That's
yeah,
all.
thank you I mean, basically it speaks to the place, the sacred space that you hold for all types of individuals, to include Granddaughter Crow and my evolution and transformation as well at your shop, because you have all of this knowledge. You have crystals and classes and books and knowledge and readers and Cheryl, how have you been? Tell us what is going on at Soul Inspiration. What are you excited about right now?
Well, it's kind of interesting. One of the things that we're known by, obviously, is our logo, which is Queen Nefertiti. That is one of the goddesses that has always been with me, has always worked with me. How that actually came about was during a meditation. I've had several of them where I've finally figured out that that was one of my lifetimes. So I wanted to bring it into this lifetime and really honor her as the goddess energy. So one of the things that we're really excited about that we're bringing to the store is we're bringing a women's support group. So
Oh,
the reason that we're bringing that is because doing my readings, doing the fairs that we've been doing, I hear so much that people don't have support, especially in other women. And so it has been coming to me and coming to me. And it's like, we need to gather as women. We need to bring in that collective divine feminine energy, and we all need to learn how to support each other. We've been under the rule of the divine masculine for so long that we've been battling each other instead of supporting each other. So this is really a group that I'm really excited about bringing. We're actually having our first group at the end, April 26th, I believe, which is a Saturday from 11 to 1. But really it's just let's gather. What do you need as far as support? What do you need as far as, understanding? Like, how can we support you as that divine feminine, and gathering all of us beautiful lights together to do that?
yeah.
We could each do it individually,
Right.
but how much more energy can we bring collectively? And that's what we're looking
Absolutely.
to do with this group.
I absolutely love that because each of us as females, or, we have been doing it individually. We have been, crying in our pillow or whatever and trying to figure it out, and almost like afraid to talk to other women because of, like what you said, we used to battle each other. So it's like, oh, she's prettier than me. Oh, she's taller than me. Oh, she's shorter than me. Oh, I like her
Right?
eyelashes.
Yes.
All of that needs to go because we do
Yep.
need sisterhood. And
Absolutely.
I think that in 2025, we really need sisterhood.
Yes.
So, and I love, yeah, I remember you even with Queen Nefertiti, you even traveled, you and your husband even traveled to Egypt, didn't you?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Which was an amazing trip. Um, because as soon as we landed and my feet touched that ground, I was spinning the whole time. My
Wow.
energy was just connecting into everything, and I was having all these memories of being there and things that took place. We had 14 beautiful days there, and really were just able to connect in and really just do some healing work there. So we had a lot of private time to do different ceremonies while we were there. So it was nice to kind of just bring all that energy in, those memories and that remembrance, and just kind of working with that. So it's really elevated us to a new level with that energy itself, because a lot comes from remembering who we were, right? All of those past lives.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because although we have talked about past lives on the show, it's really cool to be able to sit with you who has memory, strong memory, and is bringing that past life
Mhm.
into the here and now. And perfect timing
Yes.
with the divine feminine and the empowered female. And I always knew something was backing you up because you always, I mean,
I
you've
have a
got your,
team.
yeah, you've got something that, because I mean, you made it through the pandemic, you made it through as a small business owner, and so that
Yes.
is awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, you guys check out www.soulinspirationllc.com. And if you're watching this in the future, maybe it'll be on an online little group. Maybe I could bring my little camera in and secretly view. I'm not going to be a stalker, but I'm always here to help.
You are more than welcome to attend, though, and be part of it for sure.
I would
Because
love.
and that's, when we're looking at the things that are happening in the world right now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's it's chaotic. There's all this energy that's flowing around, and people are struggling to figure out what to do. What do I do? What do I support? What do I believe? And so there's all of this crazy energy that's kind of happening. And it's like, okay, how do we support each other through this? And especially as women, because like I said, there's so much, we're like, oh, that doesn't, really make sense, or I don't agree with that. And instead of finding a common ground of, okay, why do they believe that way, right? We got to come from that place of understanding because all of us are looking through the different lenses of the experiences of our life. So there could be different reasons why they're feeling one way or somebody's feeling another way. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but we shouldn't be battling each other. We should be trying to understand, why is it that you feel that way? What has created this instance for you? What can we do to help support you through that? Because really that has always been my goal with Soul Inspiration is I want to inspire people's journeys. What is your spiritual journey? What is your path? How can we support you on that? Because that is the biggest thing that most people need is understanding and support. How do we do that? And if people have suggestions, by all means, please send those to me because I would implement those or try to implement those if we can, because that's really what we all should be doing. We are all part of the same one. We need to figure out how do we come together and not in this anger or frustration or anything else that's kind of been swirling around out there for probably at least the last 6 months or 7 months. And that's really what our goal is here. And if we can do that, if we can share knowledge, this is really what we want to do. As much knowledge as we can share with you, that's what we would like to do.
I
So
love
if you're
that.
open to that, this is the place for you.
I absolutely love that. And now I understand. I mean, color me slow, but now I understand soul inspiration, Queen Nefertiti,
Yes.
bringing that I like get it, like light bulbs
Yes.
finally come on, right? And that your place, I mean, it's inspired my soul. I just didn't know how much of a team you were working with to do that.
I have to have a lot of them. I'm a little dense sometimes too. It's okay.
I love it. I
I'm
love
a
it.
little slow in the uptake, but it eventually gets there when they hit hard enough. So,
Oh yeah, absolutely. I am right there with you. So, speaking of knowledge and wisdom, like what types of classes does your shop offer? Because I know that that's a huge thing. I was once a wonderful, I loved teaching at your shop. You have amazing people who come in there. You have amazing teachers that are in your shop now, and you are an amazing teacher as well. What types of things do you focus on with your workshops and your events and your classes?
so we do a range of different things. So really we do anything from Reiki. We actually are teaching a shamanic medicine wheel as well. We're also doing an advanced shamanic medicine wheel. So it goes deeper into the body and the things that we hold and where we're holding that and why. To past life regressions, to mediumship galleries, to we also work with a teacher who's currently doing art as a reading. And so when she does her paintings or whatever, there's different faces, animals, shapes, whatever that comes out of those. And she reads that specifically for people so they can sit with it and get more information off of that. And like I said, there's every gamut in between. You know about the empath class. That is something we teach as well, because that's a lot that most people don't understand. And even basic into how to work with certain herbs, how to work with the chakras, all of that good stuff. So really, there's just a really good balance, I think, of a lot of different things for people to get interested in.
I love that because it sounds like you have not only a wide range for the curious soul, but also it sounds like you have levels
Yes.
of here is beginner level, we got you.
Yep.
And oh, you graduated from that. Well, let's check out what's more. And I absolutely love that because you're right, knowledge and wisdom, following curiosity is something that I think is really big. The reason why I feel it's very big is because I see that curiosity, my own personal curiosity, led me to my soul,
Hmm. Yep.
you know? And maybe that is a part of my own personal soul's inspiration is that curiosity and the thirst for knowledge and everything.
And the age-old question of who am I really?
That's a big
That's a big
question.
one. That's a big one, right?
Yes.
But you can delve into some of these classes and start to figure some of that out. And that really is where we wanted to start with a lot of this is, as you know, as a reader, people can come to you and they can ask you questions and you can give them answers and they can be like, nope, or, oh, okay. right? You're always going to get that, whether it's, they're ready for it or not. But what I have found is that when people find their own answers, whether it's through meditation, whether it's through a class or anything else, it's harder to dispute, right?
I love it.
Yeah. And
I
that's what I want to drive people to, is finding their own answers, finding their own wisdom, finding their own healing, finding whatever their journey leads them on, and
love
us
that.
being able to be there and support that.
I love that. I mean, in thinking about what you just said, it's basically like another reason why I do this podcast is because I want people to share, and people who have those questions that don't know about, and I am going to swing back to Queen Nefertiti because I can already hear it in the comments. Tell us a little bit more about that. But it's this idea that of highlighting what is inside of yourself.
Yep.
For me, it's funny because I do a lot of continuous studying, listening, and you're absolutely right. I can say, "Oh, I see you as a healer." And they'll be like, "That's nice, granddaughter Crow. You don't know how my mind works when I get in the car in traffic." And but when they sit there in meditation and they go, "Wait a second. I think I might be a healer." It is a lot more profound.
Yes.
I
Yes. And
I love
stay
that.
with them. And
Yeah.
then that's where, well, like you were talking, then they're seeking that knowledge and they're dipping their toe in and they're figuring out, what is it really I'm here to do? I get this question a lot. Am I here just to work a 9 to 5 job and get married and raise children? Is that really all I'm here for? And it's like, no, you always have a bigger purpose. It's figuring out what that bigger purpose is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that you have a shop that helps people find the answers to those bigger purpose questions.
Right.
So I love all things Egypt.
Yes.
I do. And if you even check out Granddaughter Crow's logo, I've got the Eye of Horus on it. And I just find this beauty of, like, that's where my soul gets drawn back. However, I still don't know why. I probably was a simple initiate, maybe one of your servants. I don't know.
I highly doubt that. You would have been more like an advisor, if not a pharaoh,
I would be your advisor. That would be fun. And I could tell you, oh, yeah, do this, do that, Cheryl.
right?
I am playing. Could you tell us, because this is the first time on the show that somebody, like I said, actually remembers and connects and brings that life forward, one of their past lives, because I'm sure you have a many. What was that experience like? Because I'm sure that you just turned a few heads like, wait, what if I can do that? What is that experience like? Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
It's very interesting because one of the meditations that I had, it was basically being in Egypt, seeing all the hieroglyphics, seeing all of the images, the people that were there. Another meditation where I realized that that was who I was when I went to Egypt. I had a profound experience where I'm standing in front of a statue of Akhenaten, who was Nefertiti's husband, and I just bawled for hours, just bawled. And it was that remembrance of being there, of having to go through those trials and tribulations, but being able to stay together with her husband and support him until things started to fall apart. And having to then go back through some of that she was put through. And I feel like that's my life today, you
Yeah.
know, all the experiences that I have. But me and my husband, together, we work this shop and we're always here together and we're doing this work together. Um, and we're keeping our family close as well. So we are not only just a metaphysical shop, we are a family owned metaphysical shop. And the readers also that are here and the healers are also three of my children.
Love
So
it.
they're a part of this whole journey as well. And if you look back to Nefertiti times, you'll see how in most previous hieroglyphics, especially with pharaohs before that time, they never did hieroglyphics with family. but
Oh,
Nefertiti and Akhenaten did. They were the only ones to,
I just got chills. Like
right?
not just on my arms, but like my little cheeks got the goosebumps.
Yeah. So it's really trying to bring that back in, and how do we do this again, but differently? Because I truly believe that all of my kids, because even in that lifetime, she also had 5 children, which I have 5 children in this lifetime. So there's a lot of synchronicities that are happening within our family dynamics that help to support us on this journey. So our children have also decided to join in as well and be a part of that journey. Yeah. Which
I
is
love
which is great for us because it's a great support system. It really is. Not only for our own personal work, but they're doing their work as well.
I love your family. I mean, I know your twins and absolutely have always adored them to the point where it's like, granddaughter Crow, just go away, you-
They
quit
love you.
gawking, quit gawking that we're twins. We already know this. I just played.
They also learned a lot from you as well, from the many classes that you took, whether it was the astrology or the tarot. One of my daughters is now a tarot reader as well. So, yeah.
I love that. And I love the idea of family because it goes back to not only what you said about the women's group coming together to support, but what do females do more than the masculine energy does is bring family together.
Yes.
And and
And
that's
those that come into our shop, we hear this all the time. Thank you for treating us like we're family, because that's what we want to create. We want to create that, anybody can come, where it doesn't matter where you're at on your journey, whether you're just beginning or if you're advanced, or, you're just starting to understand what all of this is. Again, that's what we're here for. We're here to help support anyone on their journey. We don't judge anybody on where you're at. We really try to understand where you're at and help you forward with that, because it's not
love
our job to judge.
I love that. And that's even all over your website too. Once again, www.soulinspirationllc.com. It's this inclusive, non-judgmental because you know how I stay non-judgmental. I'll tell you my secret on how to stay non-judgmental. I look in the mirror.
Hmm? Right?
You know what's interesting too, for those who are on the YouTube, I literally have an Egyptian mirror and I didn't realize that. Well, I mean, I knew I had it, but I didn't. But yeah, I look in the mirror and I realize that who I am and not just the great things, but the horrible things and the mistakes and the oops, I was dumb there and all of that that makes me human and accessible is a part of my gift. And I think that that's really amazing to be able to be so engaging and embrace when right now in USA 2025, we're not going to go too political, but where there's a lot of, like you were saying, a little chaos and all this, but there's a lot of separation ideology, at
Yeah.
least within social media and within various groups. And like you said, let's come together and maybe, you are the black sheep, that's cool because I'm the black sheep and I fit right in
Me too.
your family. Oh, that's why. I love it.
But really, right? Like you said, that is one of the things that I say all the time that I learned from you. What we experience, what we go through, that is our medicine. That is how we help people. Those are the people that you attract. Why do you attract them? Because you've healed that part of yourself and you know how to get somebody else through that. And so that's really profound, knowing that it's okay. We can make mistakes. We are human. This is what we came to do, was to learn and to experience. But it would be nice to have a little support while we're doing that sometimes. And I get that too.
Absolutely. It's always nice to have somebody go, you got this, you can do it. I mean, that's actually, it's kind of like watering my plant to bring a little sunshine as I'm growing into whatever I'm growing into next. And so, with I know that there's going to be listeners out there that now are like, okay, I'm bought in to, Cheryl Ramsey's mission. So what do you have to offer online? Like, I know you have a really cool shop. Like, you're literally about a half a mile from my house.
Yes.
I got when I said my own backyard, people, I meant it. Like, I think it would take me 6 minutes to walk to her.
Yep. Well,
So,
we have a variety of things. We have things from crystals to tarot and oracle decks to books to anything basically you can find at any, metaphysical store. We really try to keep things fresh and new. Obviously, we're always going to have the staples of the sage and Palo Santo, your resins, your herbs, those types of things. But we try to keep bringing new things in to help support people wherever they're at. And again, we'll hopefully at some point, be getting our classes online as well. So that's always something new that's going to be coming in as well. We do ship. We ship, in the United States. So if somebody ever wants to order something, we absolutely ship within the United States. So you can do that as well. We're also on the shop app, so you can also follow us and see anything new that comes in that we bring into the store. Because we're always looking for new crystals, something, different that people can really resonate with. I think right now we probably have close to 400 different crystals within the store. So yeah, I mean, we really try to keep the store really stocked with different things that people ask for. So if you ever go to our site or come into the store, if you don't see something, please let one of us know. We try to bring that in when people bring that to our attention.
I
So
love that. I
yeah.
absolutely love that. And also, you know what I found really cool about you as you keep going and growing over the years that I've known you, now you do like metaphysical fairs.
Yes.
And
We
I
just had
popped
our
in
first
and
metaphysical fair.
it was awesome. It
Yes.
was awesome. I was so excited to see community because, quite frankly, under the pandemic and the, social distancing and all of that, I kind of said, "Oh, okay, I'll just hermit then. I'll just become a hermit then." And now, and now my spirit's like, "Okay, you're done being a hermit." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not."
It's
But
like, I kind of like it in here.
like it in my cozy little shell. But I was able to attend, your first one, and it went so beautifully. I mean, I walked in, and I think the first thing that I felt was community. Although I didn't know anybody except for, members of your family and maybe a couple of people that I remember that were at your shop way back in the day when I was,
Yep.
um, I was just like, oh my goodness, this is community.
Yes.
It felt community. So that's a huge thing that I mean, right now people are asking me under this confusion, Granddaughter Crow, what would you say? I'm like, well, light candles, meditate, find community and support
Yes.
because we are getting so many mixed messages and messages that, quite frankly, we don't know whether they're credible or not all over
Yep.
social media and the news outlets and everything. And it could really cause us to lose who we are.
Right.
Not just as, oh, I'm a female married and now I'm going to have my 2.5 children with my picket fence, but really that soul, that purpose.
Yes.
This is the perfect time to find that purpose. What
Yes.
do you think?
Absolutely. And that's really why we created that fair is because we want to be in this community. We want to support this community. We want to be able to go, look, there is something different. I've even, told people who have asked for for readings, whether it's this political stuff or not, I'm like, unplug. Unplug and go within. The answers are with you. You just have to find them and look for them. There's so much distraction. And even if you look at that, even from the shamanic point of view, right? All the stuff that's happening outside of us is what's happening in here. So unplug from all of that, go back in here and figure out, why am I feeling like this?
Right.
Is this really outside of me or is this really inside of me? And what do I need to correct? What do I need to work on? What do I need to heal? And that really is kind of why we decided to do that. It's like, look, our community needs support. We need to bring the highest vibration possible. So our logo really was love, the highest vibration there is. Tap into that energy, become a part of that. As your energy chart starts to let go of some of the stuff that's no longer needed, you can step into those higher vibrations and go, oh, this is really what's going on.
I
And
love
I don't need to worry about all of that. I can
I
really just worry about me.
absolutely love that because you strike on a very deep, profound point of how the external world actually can reflect the internal world. And yet the external world is getting so chaotic that then it's changing the internal world to be that chaos. And I
Yes.
think that you say it so much more eloquently than I do, Cheryl. You say unplug.
Mhm.
And I was just recently on another person's podcast, and they said, well, what would you suggest to the listeners? And I said, I should have consulted with you. Unplug. I
You're
s-
like hermit mode, hermit mode.
no, I said light a candle and shut up.
Mhm.
That's what I said because it's like when you can go within and actually figure out what is triggering you about this.
Yep.
What about that situation is leaving you unsettled?
Mhm.
Why do what you, all of that kind of stuff, then you can start like becoming your own gatekeeper and
Absolutely.
actually do the work inside, which
Mhm.
then makes you an additional beacon to the community. And for me, I don't see it like, oh, like a hierarchy, like you have to be this far along in order to bless somebody else. I'm like, we all bless someone else.
Yes.
We
Yes.
all, I don't care if it's your first time walking into a metaphysical shop, picking up a rose quartz, just going, this is pretty and I love it, love it, love it. I just feel so much love. And then you put it down and the shop owner says, that's because that's unconditional love. That welcome to the rose quartz. But they are teachers too, and I love to learn from everyone.
Right.
What is your theory and thoughts around, is it a hierarchy or who's our teacher? Like,
I don't think there's a hierarchy. I think we're all on the same playing field, quite honestly. I feel like we have angels, guides, loved ones, ancestors, all of those to support us on our path. But I think our true guiding light really is our higher self, connecting back in, letting her or him guide us on what we need to do next. They always put a path in front of us. And if we could just hone in on what they're putting in front of us, it makes life so much easier. We don't have to overthink this stuff. We don't have to do all of these things to try and feel normal, right?
yeah,
And that's the big thing because when you look at globally what's happening around the world, and not just in the United States, but globally, this is what the collective is showing us. It's showing us how out of balance we really are. And how do we bring that back? We have to each step into ourselves, like you said, bring our light, let our light shine. It will automatically change other people without even having to say anything. You don't have to have these arguments with them to change their mind. You can let your energy speak for itself. And that's it. It's very simple, but we as humans tend to overthink things and try to put more into it than it really needs to be. Spirit has always told me it is so simple. Humans make it harder
well,
because we overthink everything, right? Well, did I really get that? Should I be going that way?
I
It's
l-
simple. Let it be simple.
let it be simple.
Yep.
Oh, I'm gonna write that down because every morning I wake up and I meditate and drink coffee and, just kind of sit with my own thoughts. I'm not really like deep into meditation. I'm just sitting with my own thoughts. And this morning or yesterday morning, I was like, today I'm going to be myself. I mean, that sounds so simple,
Mm-hmm.
but I like really focused on just being me and not necessarily giving the answer that everybody else is giving or not coming or doing. I was just myself.
Yes.
And it was in that simplicity that I was like, you know what? I appreciate real people. I want to see real recognizes real. I want to see what that looks like. And it's a lot more simple. I think
Mhm.
we try to make it so much more complicated. My dad, full blood Navajo, I mean, you know him by proxy by me because I used to talk a lot about him in my workshops, but he would say, we talk so intelligently about all of our confusion. But when you ask somebody, what do you know what you know? Keep it simple.
Mhm.
So profound.
Yes. Because it really is simple if we allow it to be. It's we think we have to control something or we have to change something or we have to go through all of these things before we actually gain that knowledge. That knowledge is already within you. It's just tapping in and letting it come out. And I think there's sometimes this fear around it because whether you grew up, religious or not, or maybe didn't grow up with any, then there's all this doubt of, well, is that really good or is that bad? And you have some of that as well. And it's like, again, I think that all goes back to the one. We are all one, and collectively it's showing us where we need to do our work.
We are all one. I
Mhm.
think we forget that.
Yes.
I know I do, as much as, I'm out there doing my reading and all of this, sometimes I'm like, oh, and then it's like, wait a second. The divine in me recognizes the divine in you because of the divine in me, and then we're all one. We are all a part of the divine.
Yes.
And when I get to know you, I get to know more of me and the divine, and
Exactly.
vice versa.
Yes.
Oh, I feel like a big hug is in order. I
There's also got to be laughter. Here's the
always
thing. Yes, because you can't take any of this too seriously. Yes, we've all had stuff we've worked through, but you know what? You can cry or you can laugh, and I'd always rather choose to laugh than cry. I'm
too.
not saying one's right or the other's wrong. I'm just saying personally, I'd rather laugh.
Me too.
Make light of it because
Me
things can
too.
get very heavy very quickly.
It is. It does get very heavy very quickly. And I love that because laughter moves the energy
Mhm.
and brings it to a higher vibration of, let's just simplify this. People, we're
Exactly.
we're chasing our own tails here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I
And that's
have,
what I love about doing this work because, again, everybody thinks that, all of your team, your guide team, that they're just so serious all the time. It's like they have a sense of humor too. You know what I mean? They're trying to get you to loosen up too. So if they come in a little crazy sometimes, then you know why, because you're being too serious. Let some of that go. And really just be in the curiosity of a child, right? Children are not afraid of anything. They go out there and they're exploring and they're doing things. And then there's us as adults going, well, I'm not sure. That's kind of scary. You know what? Step into it anyway. Use that innocence of the child to step in and explore and learn and do all of those beautiful things because that's what we're here to do.
I
We're
love that.
here to experience. We're here to experience emotions and, learn all the lessons that we came to learn. We can't look at those as good, bad, or indifferent. It just is what it is. And when we can move from that space, things become easier.
Love that. And you tapped into one of the things that I really hold true to is if it is an experience, who is it then that is labeling these experiences as good or bad? It is us.
Hmm.
It is an experience. And
Yes.
sometimes those experiences are more difficult and sometimes they're, more giggly, but at the end of the day, they are all experiences and they help to shape who we are. Oh my goodness.
And what we're here to do, right?
And what
Again,
we're here to
that's all
do.
learning for to help others to heal through it as well. So we
Yeah.
get to share that. And sometimes I think people are like, "Oh my God, I went through some really, horrific stuff. I don't want to share that with people." And I'm like, "But you don't know who that could help.
Yeah. That's
Just by
very true.
sharing your story, it helps share you, and it makes it, then you can look at somebody and go, wow, they got through all of that. Well, I could do that too. So it kind of gives you that support of, yeah, if they could do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really funny because if I would have heard you say that before, I would have been like, yeah, yeah, that's true. And then I had my own personal experience with it when, in some of my books, my editors like, Write more about what you went through in your family unit as a child." And I'm like, nobody's going to understand that I was raised by reverends of the Christian faith and questioned God and got kicked out of the house and went to corporate America and then finally stumbled into a metaphysical store and now I'm shaman. That's nobody's story but mine.
Mhm.
I was wrong. That is so many people's story.
Mhm. Yeah.
And and so I 100% not only agree with the concept, but have lived that. And
Mhm.
now I'm like, I mean, I'm a Scorpio rising. My rising sign is Scorpio. So basically, what that means, flashback to astrology class, is that when it comes to talking about me, talking about myself, it's really not going to happen. I'm going to
Mhm.
keep talking about the concepts and you
Mhm.
until somebody goes, but what about you, Granddaughter Crow? It's not like I have something to hide. I'm just
Right.
like, well, I'm Scorpio. I shove that under the rug. And then the process of pulling that out. So I'm really giving that prime example of how difficult it could be. The
Mhm.
process of pulling that out and feeling for a moment or a few months, I am going to be rejected. The teenage self comes out. I'm going to
Yep.
be rejected. I'm not a cool kid anymore. Now they're going to question who I am. And then realizing that that was all in my head.
Mhm.
I should have just kept it simple.
Yes. Because again, what does the mind do? The mind comes up with all the negative things that are gonna, it's trying to keep you safe, right? But it's like sometimes you gotta shut up the mind to go, no, I'm really in control. So even if it's, negative self-talk, what is your mantra that you can say to yourself that is going to break you out of that and actually manifest what it is you're truly trying to bring in?
I love that.
Yeah.
And I also love, once again, www.soulinspirationllc.com. Follow on social media, it's all
Yep.
the same. It's all soul inspiration to find out what's going on. But, that's another thing that I really loved about your website is that you don't just go, We're here for your soul."
Mhm.
You say, okay, we're here for your soul, which is comprised of
Mhm.
your spiritual path, your career, your whatever else it is, your individual health. So you focus on holistically working with people in that. And I love that because that brings in the balance once again.
Yep, absolutely. And there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? So if you're experiencing something, you can start out with crystals, you can start out with herbs, you could start out with a number of different things. And again, it's just dipping your toe in, figuring out what is it that I'm really being drawn to? What is it that I want to learn more about? What is it that I'm really excited about? And try to bring those aspects in. And then, like I said, then we can help support that. Because really, I may have a really good idea of what you may need, but that doesn't mean it resonates with you.
I love that. Did you learn that wisdom by being a shop owner and having people come in and asking you, how do I do this and how do I do that? And then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, I want that moldavite." And you're like, "Okay,
Yep.
you know,
Yep, exactly. Because you're going to get the gamut of people, right? Like I said, you're going to get somebody who's just new to everything to somebody who's been working with other things or, doing their own cards or whatever, trying to get their own information. So it's really just trying to meet you where you're at. Like I said, no judgment. Where do we meet you at and how do we help move you forward? And that's really our goal.
We meet you where
Me.
you're at.
I'm nobody to judge anybody else. I've had all my own experiences, and really judgment says more about me than it does about the person. So
True. That's
this is really why I try to stay out of that, because it's when we judge other people, right? It's whatever's coming up for us, what's being triggered, not so much about them. That says more about me. So this is where we really work very diligently to keep it non-judgmental,
I love that. Words
because
of
we have to.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love it. Well, Cheryl, this has been lovely. I mean, so many little jewels that you just kind of, oh, here,
Let me
so
sprinkle these around.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Is there any final thing that you want to say? I'll give you a second to think of any final thing or maybe something you want to say to the listeners. But before we go there, people check out www.soulinspirationllc.com. Keep it in your browser because and check it off and on because you never know what inspiration you're going to get. Online shop and soon to come, potentially online courses. And if you are in my neighborhood, our neighborhood, please feel free to drop by and plan your trip to Colorado around the psychic fair because it's lovely, absolutely lovely whenever you're going to do the next one. So, Cheryl, what would you like to say in wrap up?
In wrap up, I just like to say, we are really here to support anyone. Wherever you're at, we're going to meet you where you're at. We would love for you to be part of our community. That is a big thing that we tap into, we tune into, is what does our community need? How do we support you? So please always feel like you can reach out. You can, share whatever information, whatever you're looking for. How do we support? We are more than open to anything that is shared with us. And we just thank everybody who is part of our community now. And we just want to grow that and help you grow within yourself.
I love that.
Thank
Well
you.
said. Well said. Thank you so much, Cheryl, for your time. And thank you, dear listeners, for listening into another Believe Being and Beyond podcast. And, feel free to text the show, leave your comments, like, subscribe. And maybe you have a cousin who's in Colorado. Share this with them, and they can meet Cheryl and the community family and not be judged and buy that rose quartz that I was talking about earlier. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So anyway, thank you everybody and love ya. See you on the flippity flip.